Today, I want to talk to you about improving your sales technique. If you're in the business of sales, you do not want to miss this one. Good morning and welcome to In the Car with Clint. Today, I want to talk to you about increasing your success rate if you're in sales. Now, for me, sales is something that just makes sense, and it's, I see it as relationship building and spending time with human beings, which is the thing I love to do most. So it was quite perfect that I discovered that sales was a thing early in my business career. But it's not everyone's cup of tea, and it's not easy for everyone, but a large number of people in the world are in sales. So what I want to do is just give you a few tips today that might help you become more successful or find it easier in sales. Now, ultimately, the key to being great at sales is to get really good at following up. All you're doing is presenting people with an offer and continuing to follow them up until such time that you win or you lose the sale. And I know that sounds pretty basic, but it is. So an example might be, in my business, we sell irrigation. So we prepare an irrigation quote for a client. They've sent us all the information. We've started some dialogue, and we send them their quote. The first follow-up will be making contact with that client to find out that they received the quote. Yep, got the quote, thanks mate. Now you can have automatic email read receipts in your quote system in your software that'll tell you that they've opened it. So there's a little technology hack there that you might be able to use to benefit you. And then you might happen just to ring them 10 minutes later and be like, hey mate, just touching base to see that you got the quote. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, we just opened it. All right, sweet, have you got any questions? No, look, I need to talk it over with my significant other, but I'll do that tonight and I'll get back to you. Don't leave it in their court, right? It's your responsibility to follow up, because they won't, right? People are busy and they don't care about buying that stuff off of you as much as you care about selling it to them. So what you do then is ask for permission to be persistent. So I would be saying, oh, cool. So if I ring you tomorrow, maybe during your lunch break, is that convenient for you? Yeah, mate, that is actually. And then they know that you're going to call. Now, during that period, that'll give them time to talk to their significant other, and then you'll call them, and they might see that you're calling them, and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to deal with this right now. And they might not answer, but you've asked for permission to be persistent. So you continue to call them, and then you're calling them to help them, right? And they've already told you they're happy to talk to you. So then I would send a follow-up and a text or something like that, and just be like, hey mate, sorry, I tried calling, you're obviously busy. I will call you again tonight after 6, because then they are expecting your call. Most human beings are not going to be intentionally evasive if you've been good and you've had a good, like, they've come to you, they've asked for a price on something. There's going to be good reasons that they don't answer. So you don't. It's a trap for beginners to go, oh, they don't want to talk to me, I'm not going to call them back, and you get nervous. They've given you permission to be persistent, so you need to continue chasing them. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where you have a conversation about the job. Now, they're either going to go, yep, we want to go ahead, or no, we don't want to go ahead. One of the things that we do internally is we track whether or not they didn't go ahead at all, whether or not they went ahead and chose to go with someone else, or whether or not they're going to go ahead with us. And those are really important, because if they chose not to go ahead at all, then maybe the offering that they were looking at was more than they were willing to spend, or the time that they thought about it, something changed, they're selling the house or whatever, and they don't need to spend the money. But if they went with a competitor, it's really, really key that you understand why. Because if you're not continuing to sharpen your sword, or if you're not going to continue to sharpen your sword, then you might as well not go into the fight, because you're going to lose. So I would be finding out, what did you end up doing? Oh, we ended up going with one of your competitors. Can I ask why? It's really important to me. We're trying to grow our business. I've got KPIs that I'm trying to meet. I'm trying to get better at this. There's 100 reasons why you need to know. And most people are going to be like, look, to be honest, I liked them more, or we were always going to use them. My cousin owns it, we were just using you as a price check, or whatever it is. Now, if you're a salesperson that works for an owner or a manager, and then they come back to you and go, your sales are blah, 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 what's going on? What did you miss this? And you've got data saying, look, we just quoted the Joneses on their new irrigation system. We were being used as a price check against one of our competitors. Their friends own the shop. They just wanted to double check. Yeah, classy friends. The owner or the manager that you're working under is going to be like, well, can't fault that, right? Because you've got answers, because you've followed up. right? And I know this is long-winded, I'm going to cut it off here, but if you follow up, you'll always have answers for everyone that you report to, and you'll know whether or not that you are in the right markets, you'll know whether or not your pricing is right, you'll know whether or not your offering is right, and then you or your management team above you can choose whether or not you even stay in that field. Because I know for us, like, sometimes it feels like we're playing a charity game, and you know, when you're winning just for the sake of it and it's just no margin, and then you know, you get to a point where there's nothing left, it's time to exit that market, in my opinion. Unless you've got runway funded by some wealthy sugar daddy, and then you do what you want. So that's it. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Continue to follow up until you get the sale or you find out why you didn't. That is it. Thanks for tuning into In the Car with Clint. If you've got any questions or comments, hit me up. Otherwise, be kind to each other, and I will talk to you tomorrow.